Hi again folks, this is the second of 3 locomotives that I bought from the little second-hand shop in my town. The first one was the R150, which you've probably seen, and this is, well, you can tell from the title of the video though, can't you? It's a Lima Class 55, the old Deltic, Fife Forfar Yeomanry, says on the side. It seems to be in pretty good condition. There's nothing broken. There's some missing buffers, but yeah, the wheels need a damn good clean, and I dare say the inside's probably in a bit of a state, but other than that, seems okay. But this has been sold to me as a non-runner, so let's go and stick it in the lathe and see if it has any life in it at all. So let's power on. Ooh. Nothing. Oh! Well, let's try and reverse. That's not a non-runner, that's just a crap runner. Right, you know what's coming next. Let's take it to bits. So this is the third Lima diesel that I've acquired and will have worked on. I've got the Class 156 DMU and the Class 33, and now this. So I think that will just be a case of gently persuading this to come apart on one side, and it should, come on, there we go, like that. Oh blimey. Yeah, so it is the same as the 156 and the 33, but wow, that's pretty manky. I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's pretty dirty. Okie dokie, I think the first thing I want to do is unclip this, like so. I actually think that should have been further up. That was just clipped onto there, but you see there's a little groove. I think that should have been clipped into the groove. Anyhow, and then we shall undo these 2 screws here. This weight's just going to fall out, but there you go. There's a great big weight. Excellent. Okay, with those 2 screws undone, that just comes off. And that should then just lift out, like so. Okay, so the Lima Ringfield motor. I've not had too much trouble with this on the 156 or the 33. They both seem to run fine. Not very good at slow starting. They tend to just go suddenly burst into life. But alright, okay, so to take this apart, I think we have to get these brushes out first of all, just so we know. I don't want them pinging off in any weird direction, so it's better just to take them out. Very, very gently. You have to be very, very careful with these little springs. It's tempting just to tip the motor up and let these fall out, but having done that in the past, you drop one of these things on the carpet and before you know it, you've stood on it before you can find it. Right, so bend these back and hopefully the brushes will just fall out. Alright, we shall undo these 2 screws. And this should lift out, revealing the commutator, which is in a right mess. Oh wow, let me just get my 4 times magnification specs on here just to get a better look at this. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Right, so we need to lift this off carefully. This can be a wee bit of a fiddle. So the best thing to do is lift it up and see if you can get the gear out. Do the same with the other one. That should just come out. Why isn't it? There we go. These are absolutely filthy. Don't know how well you can see that, but these are going to need a good clean. And you can see just how clarty that is. Okay, so getting the commutator out altogether would be a bit of a job because I've got to pull it out of that. I don't know how necessary that is. Probably not that necessary. But what I need to do is just brush this out because it is just absolutely plain. Alright, okay. Let's also clean up the brush holders because they're quite corroded. Alright, and while we've got the wheels nicely exposed, let's just see if these clean up with a fiberglass pencil. Or will I have to take the rotary tools? I have found that the Lima wheels, I don't know what they're made of, but they seem to collect dirt much quicker than the Hornby ones. So there are a couple of traction tyres on it. They're not in the greatest condition, but they're okay, so I'm just going to leave them, and I don't have replacements for them at the moment anyway, so they'll just have to do just now. Right, let's clean this up. It's in a bit of a mess. So I'm just going to pop these gears into the soapy water and then just give them a scrub. Okay, that's my gears all nice and clean. Just dry them off, and I want to give these brushes a bit of a going over with the fiberglass pencil as well. Righty-ho, let's pop that back on over there. Let's get these little brushes in. So I shall pop one in there like so, and one spring in that. We shall deal with them one at a time. Push the spring down, and bend that down and in to hold it into place. Pops in there like that. And then this clip just keeps them in place. Like so. And now we need to oil this up because that is bone dry. So I'm going to put oil right in the middle of each gear. There, there. Okay, so if I just hold that on one terminal of the battery, touch the wheel, off she goes. Let's have a look at the other bogie. Right, so the wheels certainly need a good clean. I seem to remember this being a bit of a horrible thing to open up, but I think we really need to. There we go. So it all just kind of falls apart like so. So a bit of dirt in the contacts there. We'll get rid of that. And we shall clean up the wheels. Okay, so put the contact into place. And then we can put the wheels, remembering this is the conductive side. So put one there. Right, okay, let's get that through and hold that through like that. You really need about 4 pairs of hands to do this. And that goes, it will go there, and that'll go there, and then that will clip in, and that will go in there, and that should all clip into place. Alright, okie dokie. That's how we look at the body. Needs a wee bit of a wash, and I need to go and find some buffers. Does that glass come out easily? Yes, it does. Good. So we can give that a clean because it's really grubby. So we'll go give this a wash. Okay, that's the body cleaned up a little bit, and I've got some buffers I can stick on. So a couple of wee bits of blue tack just to hold that glass in place. And then we should be able to pop this back on. Alright, there we go. Let's go and see how this runs now. Okay, so power on. It's quite noisy. Well, it runs fine, but it is very noisy, which surprises me actually that it's that bad. So I'm going to have another look at this, see why that's quite as loud. Okay, I've taken this apart again because clearly giving it a good cleaning in oil made it run, but it's still very, very noisy. So the first thing I'm going to do is this bearing that comes down over the armature there, I did give it a wee spot of oil, but I'm going to grease it, because I was a bit nervous about putting too much oil in there because it's so close to the commutator. You don't want too much lubricant getting in and going all over the commutator. And also the bearing at the back here. I'm just going to give that a wee bit of an oil, hoping that just soaks down into there. So that's both armature bearings lubricated a little bit more than they were. I'm going to pop the brushes back, and then I'm going to do something else. Right, I'm going to lift these gears out again because I think there's possibly a little bit of, what would you call it? I think some people call it flash. I would just call it moulding residue, you know, little bits of plastic that shouldn't be there. So looking at these cogs, on one side there's two sort of ridges, and on the other side there's a tiny little nodule, and I think this one is exactly the same. Yeah, it's got the little nodule and it's got the little ridges, and I think that's just part of the moulding process. These cogs have 3 circular rough bits, and again I think it's just the moulding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to file these down. So I'm going to use the weight from the chassis of the locomotive and some very, very fine wet and dry sandpaper, and what I'll do is just rub these back and forward, maybe even just round and round, just to get rid of those little plastic artifacts that shouldn't be there, because these gears, as well as, you know, meshing at the cogs, they kind of rub together, so any imperfection could very well create noise. So that's much better. You can still see ridges, but you can't feel them anymore, and that little nodule in the back is gone. So I'll do the same to this one. Now for these ones, I can smooth down the back of the gear, easy enough, but I can't do it on this side because we've got this cog in the middle. So I think what we'll have to do is just get another piece of sandpaper and just try to be careful. Actually, these might actually be more visible now, although I've smoothed them off. You see them? It's like 3 circular marks. So they actually felt rough. They were standing out. But that's smoothed them off. So I shall do the same with this one. Smooth off the back and rub down. So let's put this back together and see if that has done anything. Fingers crossed it has. Right, let's go and see what this sounds like. Okay, fingers crossed. Oh, that's a lot better. So that's certainly running an awful lot quieter. I think filing those gears down has been the secret there to getting this running quiet, getting rid of all those little artifacts on the plastic. Right, let's hook this up to some coaches. So I think that's been a bit of a success. That's the Lima Class 55 running really nicely, and probably better than it's ever run, to be honest, because you know, if those gears were in that state when they were new, this was probably very noisy when it was new, but it's now running fine. Yeah, the old Deltic. Right, catch you later, folks.